Hello, good evening. Welcome to Midweek's Mental Health. We're back with another very interesting and I think very important topic, that is how to keep acne at bay. We're waiting for Dr. Navya to join us. She's a consultant dermatologist. If you have any queries regarding uh, acne, hi.
Hi, Dr. Charan.
Hi, how are you doing?
I'm good. How are you?
I'm good, I'm good. So, can you introduce yourself to people who are watching us?
Hi, I'm Dr. Navya, MD dermatologist from Sasha Lux, Hyderabad. So I'm the consultant dermatologist taking care of all the skin and hair issues.
Right. So, where is Shasha located?
So we're located in Madhapur. It's right adjacent to Mercedes-Benz showroom
Right,
or opposite Madhapur police station.
right. Also very close to where I live.
Yeah.
Yeah. So now, yeah, a lot of my friends ask me, how come you're doing a dermatological topic today? Usually, I keep my topics around mental health. I don't delineate at all from the topic of mental health. But I felt like two issues in dermatology have, like, they play a major role on a person's psyche, mental health per se. That is, one is hair loss, another is acne. Also, they happen to be
And
really common issues,
yes.
right?
And another very interesting dermatology topic, which has a lot of psychological thing, is psoriasis.
Yeah,
With the
correct.
itching, they actually undergo depression, and
Right, right, true. So first of all, what is acne?
So acne is basically we have a gland where there's a hair and also oil secretion.
Hmm.
So whenever there's excessive oil secretion, or there's a bacteria called there's a bacteria called Propionibacterium acne. So whenever so whenever the bacteria grows, you get, and it blocks the pore, you generally develop acne. Acne is very common among teenagers. So I think from 13 years, everybody is like a victim of acne.
Right. So the common age of onset is around 13 years, right?
Yes.
Does it have any relation with the puberty or?
Yeah, it does have hormonal changes do cause acne. That's why you'll notice everybody around their monthly cycle also have 1 to 2, acne breakouts. So it's very common.
Right, right. Uh, we are seeing a lot of women with precocious puberty, where the puberty is, they're having the onset of puberty at age of 9 or 10, probably
Yes.
because of the
Early
westernized
puberty.
diet. Or yes. What about them? Are they more susceptible to be developing acne at much early age?
Yes, from 9 years. Those kids are susceptible from 9, but acne just doesn't start at puberty. There's something called infantile acne also. At birth also you can get acne. But yeah, majority, most of it starts from puberty.
Hmm. One interesting thing I'm seeing is a lot of patients, middle-aged women, even men for that matter, around 35, 40, they're coming and telling that I never had acne, even in my
Yeah.
puberty. Now suddenly middle-age or adult onset acne is coming. Can you
Yes.
throw some light on it?
So adult acne can happen because of our lifestyle modifications, like a lot of makeup, you don't clean the brushes, you don't wash your face and sleep, hormonal changes again, when you reach your menarche or when your cycles are irregular, the food that we eat, the high glycemic food, and dairy can also, cause acne. Like especially if you eat a lot of ice creams, mangoes, the high glycemic food, they're all the causative reasons. And the colas, the amount of cola we drink now, so, so it's all sugars.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it's all sugar, I'm sure. So, um, broadly, how can you classify acne? What are the different types of acne?
So acne start from like mild to severe. There are 4 grades of acne. Initially, what you call the blackheads, you see those small blackheads and whiteheads on the forehead and all. That's the mild. That's the grade 1. And
Hmm.
the second step would be the blackheads with small papules, slightly bigger. That's the grade 1. That's the grade 2. Third is a little bigger, like pustules, pus-filled acne. That's the third one. Fourth one is nodules, very big. So that's the grade 4.
Hmm. Yeah. So Dr. Spurti is asking, like, she's wondering why she's getting acne around 27, 28.
Spurti, do you apply a lot of makeup? Are you on any OC, any PCOS? You know, these can be the common causes of acne at this age, and not washing your face twice a day with the amount of pollution and all, you know, so much dirt gets deposited.
Hmm.
Yeah.
Can acne be genetic?
Yeah, acne can be genetic. It is like, you know, it does have a genetic predisposition. Dr. Charan, I want to ask you something. So in acne, we give a lot of isotretinoin for the grade 3, grade 4 for the resistant, you know, people. So, and then we read about it that their mood swings and, you know, they do have a lot of, they don't sleep in the nights, insomnia, you know. So can you just throw some light on it and how I can counsel my patients?
So one of the first things is, I think isotretinoin is not your first line of treatment for acne.
No, no, it's for resistant cases.
It's for resistant cases. Now, there is a very good chance that people with isotretinoin can develop depression as a side effect, right? But that's a very not very common. But however, if you have a patient who is already having clinical depression or anxiety, it's better not to start them on the isotretinoins, or at least you can refer them to a psychiatrist so they can get treated for depression and this at the same time. Otherwise, the drugs can exacerbate depressive symptoms. It can worsen. So in KIMS, like me and Dr. Janaki, we work with a lot of patients together where for most of the resistant patients, like before prescribing the drug, she actually refers to me for a psych evaluation. Even though they're not having any depressive symptoms, she just wants to make sure that they don't have any symptoms. So that's one of the important reasons. More than mood swings, it's mostly depressive symptoms is what we should worry about. Sometimes depression can be irritation also, not just feeling sad. So even that can come under that. Yeah. So I think a proper psych evaluation for resistant acne is better. So you are safe in terms of, okay, this person doesn't have any clinical depression, so we can go ahead with isotretinoin. However, you should inform the patient that if rarely you can develop depression, but if you're feeling a little low for like more than a couple of days, come back to me, like as in come back to you, and then you can just assess them and see what to do. I think just the transparent communication is good enough, I feel, right?
And another quick question. And what
Hmm.
about those clients who are on sleeping pills? Can I prescribe them isotretinoin?
If the sleeping pills are given because they are having clinical depression, then maybe not. But if the sleep disturbances are because of some other problems, let's just say pulmonological problems or just a sleep apnea or
Oh,
just poor sleep hygiene, then it's okay. You can prescribe. There's no problem.
okay.
Yeah, but 30 to 40% of the sleep disturbances are because of depression. But you have the rest of the 60, which is not because of depression. So you can just assess them why they're given sleeping medications. Also, for a lot of patients, they don't give sleeping medications. They give just for anxiety, which also cause sleep, some of the
Okay.
meds. So probably it's because of anxiety, not because of sleeping medications. So that I think you'll have to evaluate, right?
Oh,
One small but very important question is: people who have acne, they keep picking on it.
yeah.
Can you please tell people why you shouldn't pick on your acne?
So when you pick your acne, what happens is you're further blocking the pore. So and then once you block the pore, there's more bacteria that grows. So that's the main reason why we say don't pick on your acne. So when you come to a dermatology clinic with a sterile, equipment, we remove it. But your hands are not that sterile, right? They are dirty. So that's why you should not. And they have a chance of leaving a mark because the acne gets exacerbated. So they can leave
Yeah,
marks.
yeah. Because people just pop the acne. I think there is that irresistible urge to just pop the acne
Yeah.
that will leave scars. Like I tell
Yeah.
all the patients, acne will go, but scars are a little more difficult than acne to go. So just don't touch.
Yeah. So I think the after effects of acne is pretty scary, like the pigmentation, the scarring. That's the more worrisome thing because acne eventually will reduce. So another
Right.
major cause of acne I would like to add in is the dandruff.
Yeah.
People who have dandruff, can also have develop acne, especially on the forehead and all on the forehead. So always any client with any patient who comes in with acne, we always have to check the dandruff.
Yeah, true, true. What are the different areas that people develop acne? Because a lot of people think acne means it's only on the cheeks or forehead. But what about
So,
on the body?
so acne can develop even on the back, on the chest, on the face. These three are the major, most commonly seen. But they can also develop on the scalp or any hair-bearing area, basically. Wherever there's hair, the pore can get blocked there and the bacteria can grow. So any hair-bearing area we can develop.
Right. I remember as a teenager, touch wood, I didn't have any acne. I was okay. But like when I have like one breakout somewhere, I used to go buy over the counter Eritop. Eritop was a very popular the cream back in I don't know, back in 2000.
Yeah.
So I used to go and buy it. So do you actually suggest over the counter for acne or examination by a dermatologist?
So what happens with over-the-counter medication is the person who's giving you the medicine is first of all not a doctor.
Yeah.
So he would not know the adverse effects of a steroid or anything.
Yeah.
I think most common the over-the-counter is this betamethasone that we give.
Yeah.
Obviously, the results are quick, the pigmentation goes away, but in that process, you're making the skin thin, you're making the skin delicate, and the acne is going to come back like very aggressively. So that's steroid-induced acne, and it's very difficult to treat.
Right.
So definitely no over-the-counter because most of them are steroids.
Yeah, yeah, correct. We'll take a couple of questions before I ask you some more questions. What are the treatments that you suggest in your clinic, ma'am? Somebody's asking you that.
So the first, we generally start with medical management, like we just give a plain clindamycin or a adapalene with BPO, one of these, and a start in azithromycin therapy for grade 1, grade 2. And if it's more severe, then we go for doxycycline or something like that. And we do salicylic peels, mandelic peels. So now it's like whenever somebody wants quickly, if it's a teenager, obviously nothing. But once you cross 18, then we would go ahead with the peels. And then we also have something called dermal infusion, which cleans up the entire pores, removes the dead skin. That's another quick option. And apart from that, I think most of the acne, it comes with a baggage, the marks. So you have to treat the marks, you have to treat the scars. So acne is relatively easier to treat compared to the other after effects.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I think salicylic acid is the choice.
Yeah, true. Guys, just because doctor has mentioned all the medications, don't go and do a cocktail of them on your face. Please do not. She was only trying to be educative. Yeah. Somebody's asking, can you suggest me any shampoo for dandruff?
So the shampoo for dandruff would be depending on the severity. If it is mild dandruff, then probably something like 8X shampoo. And if it is more severe and you also have hair fall, then I would suggest DS Note shampoo. So these two are the shampoos.
Yeah. But I think I genuinely suggest like if you're having dandruff as a constant problem, please get a consultation done. Because without supervision, if you just start anything, if you have a side effect, then you don't know where to go to. So just see a doctor, just one visit. At least you'll understand. Because when doctor is telling you it's severe, you don't know if it's severe because severity is subjective for you. But for her, because she's a professional, she can grade you accordingly. So I suggest please see a doctor. And dandruff is not a very small problem. Yeah.
And another, with dandruff is psoriasis. Scalp psoriasis and dandruff, a common person cannot differentiate them. So you might be using dandruff shampoos all your life, not getting result because the diagnosis is something totally different.
True. Yes. Somebody is asking, is there any permanent treatment for scars on face?
So scars, as you know, it's a dead tissue. So what we have to do is we do a procedure called MNRF. So in MNRF, what we do, with the needles, we go to a depth, a particular depth, and we stimulate and we cause injury basically. So our body has a mechanism wherever you get hurt. Our body regenerates everything. It remodels, the collagen is built up and everything. That's the healing mechanism. So same thing when we do it on the face, you know, in the response of healing, the bumps keep getting lighter and lighter every time you get. But scars can never be seen 100% result. If we attain 70%, you're good to go at a social distance.
Right.
So
Right.
that's a very good option now.
Right. Right. So you can see doctor at Shasha clinics. I think they have. I think you guys have all up to date
Yeah.
lasers and everything. I keep seeing. Yeah, I think that would be great.
We got a lot of knowledge from Mumbai, actually. We were working in Mumbai for a couple of years. So we
Yeah.
had brought the best of Mumbai to Hyderabad.
Yeah, I remember we were chatting actually when you were in Mumbai
True, true.
about how Mumbai is so difficult to live. Compared to-
But Mumbai is a very nice place. I like it.
I love Mumbai, but I don't know if I can stay there. Yeah.
It's good.
Yeah. Somebody is asking best treatment for ringworm, but I think we'll stick to the topic today. I'm really sorry. We'll just stick to
Yeah.
acne. I knew when you get a dermatologist on board, everybody has a dermatological problem. Everybody would want to ask questions.
Ask me when I go to a party, everybody asks me about so many things. I literally forget I'm in a party. I feel again I'm in my consultation room giving, like, you know, what to do.
I think dermatology and psychiatry are branches such
Yes.
that, you know, people, like wherever you go, people have some problem or other.
Yeah. Everybody will connect.
Yeah.
And the sad downside to it is I feel everybody knows everything. I don't even know why they're asking us. Everybody's expert in this.
Yeah, but a lot of people even Google the anti-dandruff shampoo and things like that. I mean, me as a doctor, I still don't take a risk with using the meds that I know. I go and see a fellow doctor and I only take medications because again, some anti-dandruff shampoos can cause dryness and things like that. So they'll have to examine what kind of hair you have, what kind of scalp you have, and they will give accordingly. If dermatology is just as easy as just buying anti-dandruff shampoo, they wouldn't be studying it for so many years. So,
True.
right.
We'll show them our book size once, how fat our books are.
Yeah. Yeah. Biceps guaranteed. Huh? Yeah. Somebody's asking, hello, I'm a doctor. Whole day I wear a mask and face shield. So blackheads and acne have increased and face also becomes more oily. Any suggestions? It's called maskne, right?
Yeah, it's called maskne. There's a new term for this. It's called maskne. Whenever you wear masks, obviously there's a lot of humidity and, you know, your oil secretions tend to increase. So because of that, you can develop acne. So for that, we generally suggest since you're a doctor, it's best to wash your face frequently whenever you get a chance. You know, twice is for a normal person, but for you probably 3 to 4 times. And then, you know, apply a moisturizer, sunscreen. That way probably you can lightweight moisturizer, basically non-comedogenic sunscreen. You know, all these will help you.
Yeah, right. Somebody's asking what could be the reason for hairline acne and jawline acne?
So the hairline acne, as I just mentioned, could be dandruff. Most of the times it is dandruff. The jawline acne, we generally get a endocrinology checkup. It could be PCOS or any of those internal reasons, you know, the hormonal changes.
Right, right. Yes, I have a couple of questions. What about diet? How does diet play a big role in controlling acne or causation of acne?
So till recently, I think when I studied my medicine, MBBS, we read that acne and diet have no relationship. But when I came to dermatology, then they said, like, you know, in a lot of Western countries, they have done studies and research and all. So food with high glycemic index, you know, those like sugars and dairy products can cause acne. So on a research, it is proven that, you know, having these fast foods and high glycemic index food can cause acne. So home
when you
food is
say
the best.
yes, when you say high glycemic index, can you elaborate for people like who doesn't understand it?
So basically, any food with more sugars, processed food, you know, all these are high glycemic index food, where the calories are much more than normal regular food. So I think that's the easiest. Sugars, carbohydrates, these all count in that.
Right. What about, what about eating deep fried items and oily foods? Do they have?
That's also, yes.
Yeah.
That's all
right.
carbs again.
Right. So what kind of diet is healthy? Like if you have chronic acne, a lot of acne, what kind of food you should stick to for most of the times?
So obviously home food is good because we don't add so much oil and we don't add the preservatives, we don't add coloring agents and all that. So, and fruits are good. Restrict your dairy products. Don't eat anything that's very high in sugars. Fiber is good. You know, vegetables are like very good, like your carrots and all. They can really show an impact. Vitamin C, like your lemon and all these have vitamin C, so they all help. Acne blemishes, all of that is taken care of.
Right, right. What about some girls? They only have acne around periods, like a
Yeah,
menstrual
yeah.
accentuation of acne. What about them? Do they have to worry, or do they just gonna go
No,
around?
no, it's a common thing. Every girl, I think most of them have it. It's not, it's the hormonal change that happens. And it
So they
doesn't
don't
leave
have to.
marks most of the time. It
So they
just
don't have to
comes
seek
for
out.
2, 3. No, not at all. It's very, very normal. It's physiological. That's the way our body functions.
Right, 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 right.
Yeah.
Also, there's a myth that only people with oily skin or maybe combination skin have acne. People with the dry skin, they don't have acne. Is that true?
Dry skin, like as I told you, more of oil secretion can be a reason for acne. But dry skin, if you have hormonal changes or if you have dandruff, again, you can get acne because of the bacteria that grows. It can be a cause, but yeah, it's more common in oil prone skin.
Right, right, right. Um, we'll see if there are any more questions. Anything else you want to add? If I'm missing out on asking you anything important, you think?
I think you covered most of it.
Yeah. Okay, that's good. Somebody is asking about the prices of these products that you said. Yeah,
I'll,
I think,
I think they'll have to come for a consultation first and then ask the prices of the products.
yeah, yeah, yeah.
I wanted to ask you, how do I counsel an adult set acne client versus a teenage acne client? They're two
Um,
different people.
yeah, but I feel teenagers have bigger problem with acne these days because teenagers have so much exposure to the world of beauty and cosmetics and things like that back compared to like probably our generation, like who didn't have much
Yeah.
exposure at all. So I think just a basic counseling of how it's physiological in particular age, right? And it's gonna go with the time. I think just that approach is the only thing that can help. But
Yeah.
the problem is people with recurrent acne or chronic acne or refractory acne. Now they develop serious psychological problems. They have problem with self-esteem, confidence.
True.
They don't step out of the house, or they're always covered. They become introverted. They don't have much social interactions. They avoid any kind of social gatherings. It can turn into social anxiety and clinical depression. For them, it's safe that you just refer them to a psychiatrist because we'd like to see. Because not everybody with acne develop clinical depression. Maybe there is genetic vulnerability, or maybe there is
Yeah.
some thyroid. Again, thyroid is what links you and me.
Yeah. Yeah.
PCOS, that again links you and me. So we have a lot of psychological and dermatological diseases together. So we can examine them and see if they are more vulnerable or not. According to that, we can. Yeah, but otherwise, I think just a brief general counseling that you also had acne and now you have clear skin. Probably
Yeah.
that's one
Yeah.
way.
Yeah.
There is a connect for patients that okay, now she's looking. There's no problem. That is one thing, and
Yeah.
also, a lot of people. The social standards of beauty is defined by
It's
your social media.
true.
Yeah, and the teenagers should understand that social media, everything can be morphed. Everything can be. I can look thin,
Filtered.
tall. Yeah, I can look thin and tall. I'm not very thin. I'm not very tall, but I can look thin and tall if I want to. So
Yeah.
don't compare with other people. Also, people in the beauty industry, that's their bread and butter. So they have worked towards it. But for
Yeah.
you, there are other life goals. So concentrating on that is not a bad idea. Yeah, just simple things like that.
And you want me to give some tips on acne, how to prevent acne, how
Oh
to
yeah.
keep
Oh
acne
yeah.
at bay?
100%. That's the main.
Yeah.
That's our topic actually for today.
Yeah. So to keep acne at bay, I would suggest if you have any PCOS or anything like that, let's start with the bigger to the smaller problem. You should consult your gynecologist and treat that. And next would be like home care. Wash your face 2 times a day. A lot of people think by scrubbing, they're removing the oil content from the face. That's a myth. Too much of scrubbing is very bad because when you scrub, your skin becomes very dry, and our skin thinks, oh no, there is no oil, so it produces a lot of oil. So that's how our skin works. So by actually removing off all the oils, you're causing more oil secretion. So that is one thing, no scrubbing. And it can also cause pigmentation because of friction. You know, when you're scrubbing, there's small granules. So it can cause friction and can cause pigmentation. So the bigger problems. So wash your face twice, drink lots of water, eat healthy. Don't clean your makeup brushes weekly. Don't use others' brushes. You know, and when you comb your hair, also take care of dandruff and head bath. A lot of people, again, there's a myth. They think I don't have to take a head bath every day. But for men, you have to take a head bath every day because your hair is short. For a woman, probably every third day is a compulsion. If you take every day also, there's no problem. Scalp is just like our skin, that has to be cleaned too. So I think these are the basic things, and no self-diagnosis and popping the pimples and all. They'll come, they'll go, they take a course. Eventually, you'll be good. Yeah.
Um, I think a lot of people, even I know some people in my friend circle, most of them the acne goes away, but the scars are what that they don't go away because they keep picking
Yeah.
on it. When they're
True.
lost in thoughts, when they're thinking about something, or if they have a party to attend, they immediately pop the acne. I think that's one thing because I told a patient that your hands are dirty, so you're actually adding more infection.
Yeah.
So the person washed hands and started picking on it.
I think they really need your counseling. I'll have to send all of them to you.
Because people want quicker ways of getting rid of the problem, right?
Yeah.
So I think that is the reason.
Yeah.
All right. I think that's pretty much it. Also, can you please emphasize drinking water again, how it is important?
So
Because
normally we used to say 2 liters of water. I think
yeah,
now we have come to 3 to 4 liters of water a day is good.
yeah,
It flushes out your toxins. You're hydrated. You know, and good sleep. It's a very important underrated thing. Good
yeah,
sleep also makes a lot of difference because when you sleep, your cell turnover increases. So
yeah,
more healthy skin is formed.
yeah,
So at least 7 to 9 hours is the basic sleep everybody has to sleep. 6 hours, people say, our elders say 6 hours. But
yeah.
according to science, it's 7 to 9 hours.
7 to 9
So,
hours continuous, productive, deep sleep in the night,
yeah.
not throughout the day, broken sleep. No, that doesn't count for good sleep.
And
You should sleep,
exercise. Half a
exercise.
40 minutes of exercise. It increases your blood circulation. So whenever your blood circulation is increased, more oxygen is reached. So your skin repairs, you have that glow. It's natural glow. You don't have to do anything. Just exercise will help.
Yeah. So I want to tell all the people who are watching in every talk, I think I've done talks with like multiple specialists. At the end of the day, it comes down to lifestyle modification.
True.
Any disease, be it neurological, psychiatric, dermatological, endocrinology, lot of things other than infections maybe, which is not obviously control much. Good sleep, eating well, and exercise, they play such big role.
Major
So
role.
you have to adapt them. Yeah, I mean, I'm glad that people are moving towards lifestyle modifications. But there is again a part of India that is completely living in darkness in these aspects. So exercise is not just for young people or teenagers to look good. It's even for our parents, even for our grandparents. So
Yeah.
encourage everybody. That definitely works. Somebody is asking, Dr. Navya, does removing facial hair can it trigger acne?
Removing facial hair does not cause acne, but what happens is when you shave in the wrong direction of the hair growth, there can be something called folliculitis. It's basically hair infection. So it's not acne, it's folliculitis, which mimics acne. So because of the shaving that happens, not because of the laser. When shaving
Right,
done wrongly.
right, right,
Yeah.
right, right. Yes, I think that pretty much covers most of the. Somebody's asking, my skin is dry, but I have acne. What can I do?
So I would suggest consult a dermatologist.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah. And wash your face regularly. Don't pick on your acne. Sleep well. Try these basic things. If it doesn't help, then come down. We're always there to help you.
Right. Again, one more thing a lot of people are asking about is Okay, before that, I'll
And
take
apply
this.
makeup.
Yeah.
Moisturize your skin and then apply makeup. If you have dry skin, it's always good to moisturize your skin and then apply makeup. And on makeup, always apply your sunscreen.
Okay. Also, removing makeup is very important, right? Especially like when you're going
Yes.
out partying and you're tired to
Yeah.
remove it, so you might pass off, or yeah, that shouldn't happen as well. That can
Yeah.
precipitate actually.
True.
Again, see, sunscreen is very important, right? I mean, I tell all my patients as well, apply sunscreen, because especially guys don't apply sunscreen at all. Women also, a lot of people don't know about sunscreen usage. They apply right before they go out. I tell them to give at least 20 minutes before and then go.
15 minutes, yeah.
Yeah. So when I ask them like why you're not applying sunscreen, they say that is precipitating acne for them because it's making them so oily. What are your comments?
I think the physical barrier sunscreens, it's like a tint, so it might block the pores and all, but they are non-comedogenic, that is non-acne forming sunscreens, which are available now. So the previous sunscreens, yeah, they were, we used to have this common problem, but now they're much better sunscreens, which do not cause any acne. They're very lightweight. So they are newer generation sunscreens, which don't cause acne anymore.
Right.
Just
so
choosing the right product.
Right. Yeah, again, obviously doctor will help you choose the right product, but if you're picking it off the counter, just make sure that you're looking for the non-comedogenic. That is very important. Yeah. Especially if you're
and lightweight.
Lightweight
also will be written. Lightweight, non-comedogenic.
Lightweight. Oh, okay. Interesting. Yeah. Thank you, Mayan, for saying that you saw my 30-day challenge. You only saw it, or you done the 30-day challenge? I hope you did the 30-day challenge.
What was your 30-day challenge?
So I done a 30-day mental health challenge. So every day it's mostly about concentrating on your own self, which included exercise, like picking a new hobby and communicating with other people, reaching out and things like that. So you have to post a picture, because posting a picture is a reinforcer for people to do things, right?
True. Nice.
Yes. Yes. Marking device saying thank you, Dr. Navya. I think that's it. I think that brings us to the end.
Yeah.
Surprisingly, a lot of guys also joined for the acne talk.
Yeah.
So men are becoming more aware of their skin and understanding how skin is very important. Yeah. All right. Thank you so much. I think I know we've worked through no signals and heavy rains.
Yes.
I'm sure it's worth it. You have a good day. I'll save this on my page. If anyone of your patients want to see, they can always come and see. Yeah.
Done. Okay. Bye. Thank you so much for having me over.
Yeah. Sorry. Somebody has one last question. Can we take it?
Yes. I'm using sulfur.
I'm using precipitated sulfur and benzoyl peroxide for acne. Is that good?
Is that prescribed? That's the first question. Is it prescribed by a doctor? Because benzoyl peroxide can really dry up your skin. So we always start with a lower concentration. We tell the amount of, the time duration, which has to be washed, and slowly increase the time, skin contact time.
Right.
So it's very important if your doctor, and if a doctor is given, then definitely, it says yes.
Yes.
Yeah. So benzoyl peroxide definitely works. It's a mode of treatment for acne when taken in the right way. Otherwise, it can cause your skin excessive dryness.
Right.
Yeah.
All right. Thank you so much, Dr. Navya. You have a good day.
Yeah. Bye.